and I need another notch on my belt. If you're looking for a six-pack, muscled up kind of man, better look somewhere else. Yeah, I can stand.
What up, everybody? This is Dads with Bacon Talking Sports, and we are here on January 8th, 2025 for our second show of the year. Welcome to everybody. We're going to be talking today about, NFL and college football, specifically the coaching carousel in the NFL, as well as, there's a thing called the playoffs that are starting this week, if you didn't know about that. If you didn't know about that, I'm not really sure why you're watching this show, but whatever. We'll talk about the college football semifinals. And then I figured since everybody on this show other than me is a pretty big wrestling fan, we'd talk a little WWE, their debut on Netflix. So bring on the guys here. We got TJ, welcome. Adam and Charles, welcome, gentlemen.
Oh, boy. Charles is in here. Hey, Charles.
What's up, man?
How's that front nine looking right now?
Oh, jeez.
Oh, shots fired right away. Shots fired.
It's all
nice.
good.
It's okay. Hey, you know what? I have no faith in us beating. We'll get to that later. I have no faith in Texas this week.
Oh, I do. Completely. Are you kidding me?
Damn, I need to.
It's going to be an independent and an SEC team in the championship.
I hope so.
It's going to be hilarious.
Well, I hope we don't see Notre Dame, but whatever. That's a whole nother story. Not that I like Penn State much more, but
Notre Dame beat the best team in football, so they're going to win it all.
Sure.
Okay, let's get.
Maybe Indiana.
Charles, we'll let you talk about the SEC a little bit more later. We'll have our SEC segment of the show.
Hey, Chipper Jones has said it all. There's nothing left to say.
What is Chipper Jones saying now?
Oh, check the thread. You need to take the thread off of mute, my man.
No.
I posted his tweet there. I'll read it off later.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
I don't need to be bombarded with 50 million notifications a day. But it's all good.
I know you hate missing out on all the college football talk, Adam.
Absolutely not.
All right, so this week, obviously, what the Black Monday is what it's usually called, the first Monday of the play of the non-regular season in the NFL. We had a few coaches get the axe already on Sunday, I think, but most of them got the axe on Monday. We have 6 jobs right now, or 6 coaching positions that are open as of right now. So we got the Bears, you got the Patriots, Jacksonville Jaguars, who apparently Doug Peterson survived one extra night as they got snowed in Indianapolis, and then got the axe the next day. We got the Raiders, Jets, and the Saints. So, and one job, actually, we'll start here because TJ is our resident Cowboy fan, and that job is not posted yet. But what are your thoughts on? I will say this before I let you answer. I will say I was, when Ben's coming on too. There we go. Hey, Ben.
Hey guys, how's it going?
We're just talking about the coaching carousel right now and the vacancies. Now, the one, like I said, that isn't mentioned yet is the Cowboys job. And I think yesterday they announced that Jerry Jones and the Cowboys denied the Bears' request to talk to Mike McCarthy. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. He's under contract till January 12th. Is that right? That's
under
when you have
contract till next year. He's got one more year on his contract.
Oh, he does have one more year.
I thought it was yesterday.
I thought he was done after this year.
Yeah,
it's
so
one
did
more
I.
year.
Okay,
It's one more year off of that.
So now your thoughts are they keeping him, or what do you think? I mean, the fact that they denied the Bears opportunity to talk to him. I know I've heard rumors that the players love him, or most of the players love him. The important ones love him. What are your thoughts on McCarthy?
It's kind of funny because they gave, Jason Garrett 10 years in Dallas before giving him the axe. And, he really didn't produce too much. You bring Mike McCarthy in and, his first, I think like his first season was kind of rough, but then he started, 12-win seasons were pretty good. You couldn't get past the playoffs. We all know that. But the thing that I think that we're looking at right now is, you said it, the main roster guys who were injured or who have been out came back to play for Mike McCarthy, and that's who they want to play for. Micah Parsons wants to play for McCarthy. CeeDee Lamb came back to play for McCarthy. Yeah, he was out the last game, but even McCarthy said, he's like, hey, sit out. I want you back next year. You're a vital role on this offense. So, I would not surprise me if they let him go this year, just because Dallas is such a cutthroat sports market when it comes to football. And if you're not bringing in a Lombardi, you're out the door and on the highway the next day. So I wouldn't mind keeping him in if we can figure something out. But on the off chance he leaves, I can see him going back to the NFC North, because that's where he thrived the best in my eyes.
Yeah. Well, now, speaking of, I'll ask one more question, because when you brought up Micah Parsons, this popped in my head and had nothing to do with McCarthy. Rumors yesterday that I heard that Micah Parsons, I don't remember if it was on his podcast or just he said something maybe in the locker room, trying to get Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, he tweeted out to Tyreek Hill and said the two fastest guys in the NFL need to come and play on the same team. Tyreek Hill actually retweeted that, and then I want to say maybe an hour after that, it was deleted. But then Tyreek is in Dallas as we speak right now.
Well, that would kind of
Westbrook of the NFL.
What did you say?
The dude feels like Russell Westbrook.
Literally.
He's a me guy. He's flashy. He gets the stats, but is the guy just? Is he just a distraction that's not going to ever help anyone go over the top yet anyway? With whatever 10 kids he's at now, good Lord, how's he got to sleep anyway?
But hey, he's a present dad, according to his Xbox or his Twitter profile. He is a present dad for all 10 of those kids. That's pretty impressive. Anyway,
I want to counterpoint here a little bit. I want you to correct me because I'm going to be wrong here. So, prefacing that way, you said Dallas is a cutthroat football market, but Jason Garrett did nothing for 10 years and kept a job. You go through the history of this one, and it's not cutthroat unless you cross Jerry. Jimmy Johnson crossed Jerry. Jimmy was gone.
That's because Jason was under Jerry's desk the whole time.
I get it, but my point here is that it's not exactly cutthroat with these coaches when they've got Jerry wrapped around their own fingers or when they are Jerry's lap pet. So I think right now that my counterpoint there is it's a cutthroat market in the fans' eyes. Cowboy fans are sick of losing, and they will turn on you like that. But the only one that matters is Jerry. If Jerry doesn't turn on you, you've got a job. And that's proven by Jason Garrett's clapping and keeping his job when they're getting their butts kicked by the Packers in the playoffs.
Well, and the other thing, too, which was kind of funny, I don't know if you guys caught what Zeke said after getting signed today. They asked him about, hey, why did you want to leave so fast from Dallas? And he goes, because they weren't going to do what I wanted to. He literally went to Jerry Jones saying, I wanted to play the whole game on week 18, and they would not let him play. They're like, oh, you're too much of an asset. We don't want you to play. He wasn't. He didn't do squat for us this year. Maybe a few touchdowns here or there, but Zeke is not the same Zeke that he was when he first came in the league. And I'm sorry, I was excited for him to come back because it was awesome to see him back in a Dallas uniform. It's just nostalgic for me to watch that. It was a bust. My buddy got a 15 Elliott jersey, and I said, that's the biggest waste of money you will ever have this year. And sure enough, it was.
Yeah. Well, Adam, let's turn it over to you and your Patriots.
Hold real quick. I just looked it up. McCarthy's contract does end on the 14th of January of this year.
Okay.
And that Shefty and Sports Illustrated and MSN all have that reported. But the report is that they are in contract negotiation right now.
He's gone. Stop it.
Okay.
Bye.
MSN's got this 45 minutes ago.
He's gone.
Yeah. No,
I don't know how McCarthy survived last year.
Well,
Garrett got 10 years.
Well,
exactly. If Garrett gets 10 years. This is a great
transition to the Patriots. And I'll tell you why.
Well,
I think McCarthy is from the old school branch of coaches.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I do. I think he's from the old school branch of coaches, and with all due respect to McCarthy, at least you have more offensive prowess than Mike Vrabel. Vrabel, you keep him, I can't swear on here, the bleep as far away from New England as bleeping possible. I do not want him here. He did nothing in Tennessee. It was mediocrity. There was nothing exciting about that offensive play. Nothing. There's nothing exciting about Mike McCarthy. Nothing. You need younger minds that know how to innovate and adapt to this era of the NFL. The pocket passers are all but gone. You need to learn how to adapt to this new era of the NFL. And to me, if I'm Robert Kraft, I'm going, what do you want Ben Johnson to come here? You want your own GM? Done. You want someone else to what you want a president of operations? Done. You wanted more scouts? Done. You want a blank checkbook? Done. You got my full support. Ben Johnson should be the only head coaching candidate the Patriots should be looking at.
I know Combs said that earlier this week about the Bears. So let me ask you guys this, and we'll kind of go around real quick. Between the Bears and the Patriots, Charles, I'll start with you. If you have those two choices, considering what they have, already for the roster and everything else, who are you taking, Charles?
If I'm Ben Johnson, I'm not taking either of them. I'm staying with Detroit because look, the Pats are probably the worst job available other than the Raiders this season. They've got a owner who is a straight asshole. The only reason they were a winning team before is because of their coach and one quarterback. They have not recovered from that. They don't offer anything. Chicago, same thing, is a mess. Their owner is a joke. You could probably throw the Jets right into this too, though at least the Jets actually have solid talent on both sides of the ball, other than they're really a quarterback away from being a playoff team. But given the choice between the two, if I'm a coordinator on a great team, I stand pat.
Ben, how about you?
See, I disagree with Charles. And the Patriots job is crap. I agree with that right now, but you do have a quarterback. But the Raiders isn't that bad. You can pick your own quarterback too. You have the chance there. You can really create what you want to create. There's gonna be more patience there. With a
sucks
now. But Ben Johnson, for me, the Bears is a better job. You have more offensive tools to work with right now, but they need to draft an O-line. They need to draft and sign an O-line that's actually going to take. And right now you have Darnell Wright and a bunch of bums. So the Bears need an O-line, and then they've got a team. You can't have Caleb Williams being sacked almost 70 times in a year. I think the guy's going to make it past his rookie contract. So right now,
he likes being touched by men. It's okay.
Sorry,
right? He
likes being touched by men. It's okay.
Well,
come and get me, guys.
No, look, like I said, right now for me, end of the day, Ben Johnson, the Jaguars is a better job.
Yes.
Like, give him a spot where he's got Trevor Lawrence, who's underachieving. He can go and do something with that. You've got a decent receiver group there that can keep growing. Brian Thomas, a young budding
great
star.
young receiver.
Like you have a lot to work with there. To me, like I said, Ben Johnson, I disagree with staying pat, but he is notoriously selective in the interviews he takes. This is well known in league circles.
Yeah.
And this is where I will agree with you is that why would you want to work for Robert Kraft right now? Unless, to Adam's point, it's going to be whatever the heck you want, you get.
Correct.
And then it's 100% on it, because the hardest part of being a leader is you don't have control over what you're being graded against.
So why go to Chicago? Why go to Chicago?
Yeah, both of them have terrible ownership.
Because you have tools. Because you have.
All right, hang on. Kraft is not a bad owner.
No,
but this entire offseason, and I have gone on public record of saying this, we're going to see who actually didn't want to spend money for 20 years. Was it Kraft or was it Belichick? Because this offseason, with $130+ million of cap space, the number 4 overall pick, a stud of a quarterback in Drake May, and you can literally go trade for wide receivers, sign T. Higgins. You've got 2 potential studs on this roster that Alex Van Pelt had no freaking clue how to use in Polk and Baker. Kraft isn't terrible, but if they don't spend money, then you will see very quickly in New England people calling for Robert Kraft to sell the team.
So Chad, I'm getting to you in a second here on New Orleans, by the way. Here's a problem that Adam, you're missing. And it's New England is not the destination it was before, where you just go pick up those straggler veterans who wanted a ring. Because that's not a promise anymore. That's Kansas City.
I don't want veterans.
No, but the point I'm making here is you're not going to pick up the names that you're used to being able to pick up because nobody wants to play. Speaking as a Green Bay fan, no one wants to play up here in the north where it's cold as balls and you're miserable half the time you're here. They don't want to come up here. They want to stay south where they're warm by their families. They want to be comfortable. They don't get paid in the process. They want to go to LA.
I have 80 to 100 million reasons why that would change.
You know what?
I have 80 to 100 million reasons Trey Smith comes up here and locks in a 4-year deal. I have 80 to 100 million reasons why we can trade for DK Metcalf and sign him to a long-term extension. By the way, he's played in the cold.
You know what, Adam, to Ben's point, though, all those reasons that you may have, the players aren't seeing it. You guys haven't had a major free agent signing basically since Brady left. Nobody wants to come there. Your owner is an asshole. He doesn't have a good reputation throughout the NFL with players. You know, I mean, and Drake May is not a stud quarterback. He's not.
Uh-oh.
No,
he's not a stud.
I was the biggest Drake May.
There's 3 other quarterbacks that came out of that draft class that are better than him.
He's not a stud. He's average. I was the biggest Drake May hater coming out of the draft. And he's impressed me with no weapons.
Look, Drake May is a good quarterback, but he's only 1 year in. So the same thing about Richardson. We said the same thing about all these other guys. Give them time to develop and show you more than a flash in the pan. Drake May could be a great quarterback. He could be. His ceiling is definitely great. But his floor is still quite low. There's a lot unknown there. We got to see it work itself out more than teams who are kind of taking an extra bye week playing the Patriots.
The interesting thing about Ben Johnson, to everybody's point, or I think it was to Ben's point about being well known within circles and league, how picky he wants to be. Rightfully so. He should be. He's literally tied to a team that was, 1 quarter away from going to the Super Bowl last year, that are the Super Bowl, that should be the Super Bowl favorites this year. Why would he want to leave that? But he has said, I want to go where I can build what I want to do. And if he's not going to get that control, Detroit's a wonderful place to play right now. I can't believe those words have come out of my mouth in 2025. The Lions have sucked perennially for their entire freaking ever since they've been around.
I'm going to pop one more direction to kind of address that question going here.
Jordy Nelson is the wide receiver, Ben. We know this.
No, not right now.
He played like a tight end.
Jordan doesn't know football. Anyway, the point here I'm going to make is I've asked a question for the Saints.
Yep.
Looking at the situation right now, to me, you have a very good defense. And TJ, I want your take as a player, like playing what you've done. And I want Aaron from your side, just as a fan. New Orleans is not a bad gig. If you have Olave, you have Kendra Miller coming up, you still have Kamara on a contract, you have Jamal Williams, you have Taysom Hill, you have some pieces there you can work with. New Orleans is not a horrible job, and it's a fun place to play. Superdome is phenomenal on game day. Do you think New Orleans makes sense for a top candidate or be considered a top job right now? Aaron, starting with you.
Yeah, I think it does. I mean, like you said, you know, if you're talking about what we just said, or what Ben, to your point before, when you talked about, like, you know, even speaking as a Packer fan, you know, no one wants to come up here. It's cold half the year. Okay, that's the complete opposite of New Orleans. It's a fun city. I mean, there's a lot of, even though it's probably one of the smaller markets in the NFL, it's still a fun city. There's always stuff going on there, so the players love it. There's always major events. Super Bowl's there this year. I mean, this would be a perfect year for them to really market themselves to one of these top coaches and to some of these players. I mean, I felt bad. I mean, I'm not going to apologize for the Packers winning 34-0 on Monday night.
Nope.
But at the same time, like, what were they supposed to do? I mean, they had, like, literally their entire offense was injured, I mean, so from that standpoint, you get those guys healthy. I think Chad brought up a point. He doesn't feel Carr is the answer. I'm not necessarily disagreeing with him on that. I don't know if, in this year with the draft, it's not a real deep draft, but I think Carr, as long as he's healthy, can be serviceable for sure when you get those other weapons there. I mean, you saw glimpses of it in Vegas with the Raiders. So I think as far as they have weapons there. They have a very good defense. Get your offense healthy. And yeah, I don't see why any coach wouldn't. I mean, going into the season, some people were thinking they could challenge for the division. And the way they started out, I mean, hell, didn't they go in and, sorry, TJ, but didn't they,
Oh, they waxed the shit out of Dallas.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that was week 2. They started out hot, and everyone was like, wow, look at the Saints. And, so TJ, what about Ben was asking from your perspective?
So,
is that a city you'd want to play?
As a former player, I would love to play in New Orleans. I mean, that place jumps. Game days are ridiculous. I mean, the you have the crowd behind you, and it's literally almost like the 12th man. And that's something that a lot of places you can't get. I mean, Baltimore's a different, a different monster in its own, because people are afraid to come to Baltimore and play just because how rowdy the fans can get. Same with Philly. Yep. But when you go to New Orleans, you get those fans who are rowdy and they're behind their team 100%. They show so much, fandom that at the end of the game, they'll still give you a hug if you lose. I mean, they're going to help you change a tire. It may be a little early fest, but you may get shot there or something may happen, but it's still a place that you want to play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I'm thinking if the Saints are looking for a coach and,
the Saints have their coach.
I don't think they do.
Kubiak.
No.
I'm going to say Kubiak isn't being groomed to be the next head coach of the Saints.
No, I'm going to take one better. He's in the playoffs right now, and he probably may get knocked out this week, depending. Give me Cliff Kingsbury to go to New Orleans. It will be a good fit. Reason being, he can use Taysom Hill. He can use Spencer Rattler. Derek Carr, he's on the tail end of the end of his career. I don't think there's much there. He can mold Spencer Rattler into a Caleb Williams 2.0 because they have some physical attributes equal to each other. And he can
I'm a
use
Spencer
that.
Rattler fan, so you get.
I hate him. I hate him with a passion, but I think he can. If he has the right coach, he can do it. So the defense is perfect there as well. So I think Cliff Kingsbury, and then I'm going to throw another wild card in there. Give me Antonio Pierce to come in there and rock that defense as a D coordinator.
So what about Joe Brady? Joe Brady was part of that LSU championship team. Like, he made his name for himself that way. He's beloved in Louisiana. To me, Joe Brady makes a whole lot of sense as a candidate to be into New Orleans and be kind of Chad's point there before. Drew Brees is beloved, but we have no idea if he has coaching chops or not. He's a great dude, but we have no idea if he has coaching chops. We know Joe Brady can coach. He got into the Bills and he made them even better, even with less talent in the wide receiver room. Joe Brady is a legitimate candidate, and he is a fairly known quantity to the folks down the bayou. So, to me, I'll throw Joe Brady's name in the ring really quickly for the New Orleans job is a strong possibility.
So I'm going to kind of piggyback off what you said. If Chad thinks Drew Brees can come in and coach, then give me Jason Witten to come into Dallas and smoke people up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would take Jason Witten over anybody to do that. But again, those are players who, has Drew Brees been coaching? Maybe one-on-ones. We don't know. We know Jason Witten has because he's been televised. He's won state titles now. I think if we're going to look at this coaching carousel, as we say right now, names are going to be thrown in that we are all going to be shocked with. Do I think there's going to be landing spots that we don't know like, is there going to be a landing spot where we're all kind of scratching our head and we're like, why here? 100%. That's the NFL. It happens all the time.
Right.
Yep. I think we have to look at now is cut the playoffs. Look at the future of these teams. Adam, I'm going to go with you and the Patriots. Yes, people hate Robert Kraft, but that organization alone, if I was coming into the draft, I don't care who the owner is. Mm-hmm. That organization has a name behind it.
Yep.
I would still want to play for them. Same with Green Bay. Yeah, it's cold as shit. It's cold as shit in New England.
Yeah.
It's called wear thermals. Be smart. Play football. I mean, you play for the love of the game. That's where you're going to go. There's a lot of teams where I see great players wanting to go, but they're like, oh, well, they've had a losing record. Oh, they were 4-something here. I don't want to play for them. That changes when the mentality goes away. Robert Kraft, yes, he's a shiesty man, but he's very smart. And Adam, to your point, we will see who saved that money. And I'm gonna put my money on Belichick because Kraft wanted so many guys to come in. Belichick said no.
Yeah. Look, you're not wrong. The end of the day, I think the coaching carousel is defined by two teams this offseason, and it's Patriots come in third. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, or I guess we can say elephants. The Bears and the Jets. Have you seen the list of people they're bringing in? More than any other team. They're bringing in like a dozen people to interview. You seriously don't know who you want? The fact that you need a dozen freaking people to show up? Really?
What happens when you make lots of bad choices? You got to figure it out. You got to start from scratch. I mean, I don't blame them.
So I think that Rivera makes sense in New York to get them back on track as a stopgap coach right now.
Well, and let me chime in on the Saints real quick.
Yeah, please.
Because I don't think you guys – I think that Aaron Glenn ends up the Saints head coach. The Saints have seen most of their success when they've had defensive-minded coaches. He's from that area. He's not from Louisiana, but, he's a Texas guy, went to A&M, played for Houston. He's familiar with the area. He's well-liked down in that area. He seems like the type of candidate that would fit well for them. He's already getting some endorsements as well for getting that Saints job. I think that they end up bringing him in, and if he leaves Detroit, that's where he ends up going. So and I'll put them third. I'll put them third on the list as far as the best jobs out here. As in a coach wanting to go somewhere and where you might be the most successful. You got to, the Jags and the Jets and the Saints are probably the top three. Two of them in very winnable divisions with teams that with the right pieces could take those divisions in a first year or two. And then, it's New York, it's a big time market. You get your name out there.
Something that I'm kind of, it parallels a lot to New England is New England had the coaching tree. They would bring in coaches, left and right, and they would go in and be head coaches somewhere else. I see that being Detroit with Ben Johnson.
Yeah. I
just don't think Ben Johnson right now is a guy who I'd want as a head coach. Yes, he was great under his name already.
Dan Campbell?
Dan Campbell?
I was going to call him Bruce Campbell for some odd reason. But yeah, Dan Campbell, like he's been great.
Gamble Campbell?
Gamble Campbell.
Gamble Campbell is a
Gamble
great
Campbell.
nickname for him.
Right?
I think if you give Ben Johnson one more year to fully see what it takes to be a head coach, he would thrive immediately. Don't just throw him in there. He knows what it takes to build this team. Find him a team that he can build around. New England is definitely that team. Drake May is that quarterback that could be, and I hate saying this, a Tom Brady 3.0. There's no 2.0 because nothing can touch that.
I'm not going to put him in the realm of Brady, but if you can give me greatness, not GOAT, I'll take greatness. And I think if a Patriots fan, I'll take greatness. You have to remember, like, Jalen Polk and Javon Baker are two really good young wide receivers, and Alex Van Pelt has no idea how to use them. Zero. Also, I do want to point this out when it comes to the Patriots job. Mayo would not have been fired that fast if he lost the game. He gave up the number 1 draft pick. He was fired 2 hours after that game, or whatever the time was. It would have been on Monday. That was a typed statement ready to go.
Oh, yeah.
Break glass in case of emergency. You gave up the number 1 pick from an owner's standpoint. That was it. He's not going to tolerate this. The Boston fans are not going to tolerate it. New England fans aren't going to tolerate it. I mean, look at the 2 Packers fans here. Bart Starr, Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers. Greatness, greatness, greatness. And now Jordan Love looks like he's getting right on that track. Like, this is as much a business as it is fan service. And I love what the Packers have been able to do year in, year out. Patriots have weapons. Don't get me wrong. If you tell me I get DK Metcalf and T. Higgins, I'll gladly trade Jalen Polk. But
can I just say something real quick? This was an observation I had the other day. So sort of off topic, but since you brought up Campbell,
oh Jesus,
you know, and I hate to again be the guy to bring it back to the Packers, but I was thinking about Dan Campbell watching the game on Sunday night against the Vikings, and you know, and for some reason it drives my wife nuts that he goes for it so much on 4th down. I'm like, well, hell, if you're going to get it, why not? I mean, there's no. There we go. It's brought up. All right. So, but I feel like Dan Campbell, when he has a 4th down play, it's like and you guys tell me if I'm wrong. It's like he's picking from a playbook from Madden of different plays that he could use on 4th down. But then when Matt LaFleur and the Packers go for it on 4th down, they're picking from a Tecmo Super Bowl playbook. Like, you got 4 pass plays and 4 running plays, and these are all you could do. And if the defense picks the right one, then it's a pick play, and you automatically like. Do we need to see any more end arounds to Jaden Reed on 4th and 3? Like, really? I mean, I'm sorry. The
thing that I go back to on this is when you have across the league. I'm not talking about the Packers. I'm talking about some in general. I've never understood teams going into shotgun and pistol when you have less than a yard to gain. Get under center and play freaking football. Stop this dancing around. Stop it. Like, much as I hate the tush push, at least it's gridiron football. Go out there and hit somebody. Go out there and earn a freaking yard to show you deserve to win a game. If you can't get a yard, you're not worth your salt. Like, get off the field. Let someone else get on here then, because that, to me, that's the most annoying part of this. And to your point, this end around for the Packers, Art Smith throwing to a tight end 20 yards on the field on a 4th and 1 play, whatever it is the stupid crap you see in the league right now that drives you absolutely mental. But to your point, Dan Campbell has, like, 4th and 1 is his jam. That dude lives for that.
Well, hell, I mean, looking at the Packer game in Detroit, they were, I think, 4 out of 5 on 4th down, and he had some that were like 4th and 5. Yeah. And he basically did the same thing against the Vikings when he threw to Gibbs for that touchdown.
Yep.
On 4th down, I think it was like 4th and 5, and he's going for it. And I mean, it's just, you know, the dude is, whether you like him or hate him, at this point, I think my wife's the only one that hates him. You know, it's impressive. But okay, real quick before we get on to the playoffs, I want to, Ben, you had thrown out your in our chat your picks for the one I wanted to touch on, because I was a little surprised, and you know, we can get everybody's opinion real quick on it, and then go to the playoffs. You felt that Salah would be a good fit, or you thought that was your prediction that for the Jaguars.
Yep.
Like, I guess my opinion after he got canned from the Jets, and I thought he got a bad deal or whatever. I thought they should have given him more time. But I started thinking, okay, is he one of those guys that maybe he's better off as a coordinator than a head coach? Like there are plenty of guys like that just, they're brilliant coordinators, and then you see them go as head coaches, and they're, I guess. So you think he'll get another shot this quickly after being let go?
Yeah, and I think part of this goes back to where he's being fired from. The Jets are going to jet. The Browns are going to brown.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm looking at Robert Saleh, are there mistakes made? Sure, but the biggest one was allowing Aaron Rodgers in that locker room. They had the right thing building across both sides of the football. They brought the wrong guy in. Love Aaron Rodgers for what he did for us here, but he's been a disaster for the Jets, and he's ruined what they've built in that franchise quickly, with a lot of money being tied up in his desires. So I look at this and I say that Saleh, to me, was a scapegoat for a problem that wasn't his own making. So you put him in a situation, and knowing the Jaguars organization, they're going to look at character. They're going to look at analytics. Like Tony Khan, say what you want about AEW, but the dude knows how to study some stats. The guy can look at stuff, and he understands. And Saleh is going to help keep Saxonville. He's Saxonville again. Let Duval go after there and let Josh Allen, or Josh Hines Allen, whatever he calls himself, let him get loose and make those sacks. They've got the defense for it. You can go get the guy that Trevor Lawrence needs. Let Trevor, you've already committed to the guy. Let him help you find that coordinator he's going to work with and develop with. And let Saleh keep that Jaguars defense being what a Jaguars defense should be. Elite, hard-hitting, like just smash mouth. They do that in that division. Let's call it what it is. The Texans have shown their flaws. Tank Dell's out next year already. Nico Collins couldn't stay healthy this year to save his own life. Stroud has kinks in the armor right now. Still good, but has kinks in the armor. The Colts are all over the place. They don't know what they are right now. And the Titans are pure crap. So I'm looking at this. I'm saying if I'm Saleh, you've got a winnable division with a good defensive base already there in Jacksonville. And there's a lot of pieces that kind of line up there for him, which is why I picked him as that fit. And again,
gotcha.
It's more of the culture of the team, meeting the culture of the coach, making a fit make sense for those combinations.
Sure.
Sorry, just want to point out what we're seeing in chat here. Chad, we appreciate it. And Big Ben being an AEW mark, just stick around to the end of the show. We get to wrestling talk.
Yeah. Yep. And no, Ben is not a Bucks fan. He is not a Buccaneers fan. Right? That's no. Okay.
He is a diehard Packers fan.
Yeah.
What did I miss? I haven't looked at the chat at all today, guys.
Chad was saying, "Oh no, Ben, please tell me you're not a Bucks fan."
Oh heck no!
I said no, you're not. He's not a Bucks fan. So
quick anecdote of non-Packer related reference, or Packer related reference, non-topical. The first time I saw the Packers lose to the Buccaneers, I cried myself to sleep. I was like 8 years old. It was like a Sunday night game or something stupid like that, and I think it was like Vinny Testaverde was quarterback for the Buccaneers, and we were good. They weren't, and we lost. And I was just devastated. Like I sat there, just cried myself to sleep in my little bedroom. But
damn, Chad's throwing punches at you, Ben.
Yeah, young Bucks.
CM Punk.
Hey, going back to the Jags. Going back to the Jags job, real quick.
Yeah.
No, all right, because here's the thing I want to point out. I don't know if you guys all saw, like the press conference, or it wasn't really a press conference as much as it was an interview the other day. And old Shaka Khan basically told the world right in front of his GM that he is willing to give his incoming head coach whatever he wants. He was asked the question, if you brought in a coach and that coach wanted you to fire your GM, would you? And with Balky right there on the call with him, he said, yeah, if the coach had a good enough reason, gave me a good enough reason, I would do that. This is, of course, like a day after he said he was keeping his GM. But I think with that and such a winnable division, although the Colts are going to be much better next year, with such a winnable division, I really do think that they've got to be the leading choice if Ben does end up leaving Detroit. I really do, because it's a lot of offensive weapons. He's an offensive minded guy. He's got a quarterback that he could work with. And you've got an owner that's pretty much putting it out there. Hey, whatever coach comes here, you give me the right reasoning and I'm going to do whatever you want. I think that Saleh would actually really would be a good fit in Chicago, though. I really do.
I think Saleh in Chicago, Saleh in Jacksonville makes sense. How about Saleh in New Orleans with that defense? Saleh being a defensive guy. And again, the biggest thing we haven't talked about with New Orleans for any head coaching hire, we haven't talked about their salary cap issues. They have had salary cap issues for years on their defense. Let me just pull it up. So someone else keep talking. Saints salary.
Well, they dumped Lattimore's contract. They traded that. Which,
all right, so here
thank you, Saints, for giving us a Lattimore versus Mike Evans matchup in the playoffs. Thank you very much, Saints, for that.
His kryptonite. Okay.
It'll be fun.
New Orleans Saints 2025 financial summary according to Spotrac. Oh, it's not good. They have $48 million in dead cap. Their total cap is $341 million. They have negative $61 million in cap space.
Wow. That is terrible.
Also, imagine it's amazing what happens when Derek Carr has $51 million of it.
Well, they could restructure his contract, especially with all the injuries that he's had. You got to think that's coming in the offseason.
He already has been very clear. He will not take a pay cut. He will restructure, but not take a pay cut. And
let's Dodger it up, put it on the back end.
He feels that his film has shown that he is, again, a worthwhile quarterback. So it's – I don't disagree with him, actually. I think that Derek Carr has – been a good, not great quarterback. He's an NFL quarterback, period.
He's a stopgap.
But people start looking at this a little differently. This is where I look at even my bet I made with Combsy about Jordan Love versus Kirk Cousins. I'll take a Kirk Cousins. If I can keep a moderate compared to the current market going nuts and the top end guys, give me a Kirk Cousins who can keep my offense from turning the ball over too much, keep us like on the right path. I'll take that. If Jordan Love's a Kirk Cousins, we've won again, guys. But again, going beyond that, it's teams have gotten so anxious about having to have that elite quarterback. Elite's only for the Young Bucks and the other EVPs. There you go, by the way. Jumping with the Young Bucks reference earlier. But no,
you are new IWGP Tag Team Champions. You're welcome.
So, no, I don't know. I'm going to go back on myself here a little bit. I got to call out Charlie for 1 second. He said the Saints have been most successful when they have defensive coaches. What's the last defensive coach that they've had? They've been good underneath.
Sean Payton.
Sean Payton's offensive go.
Yeah, he's a defensive guy.
Sean Payton was all offense.
So that's my only call out to try and correct you today. But anyway,
the only reason, Charlie, the only reason why I agree with Ben on that one is because Sean Payton even said in his memoirs that all he cared about was the offense. He didn't give two shits about the defense until he put a bounty on somebody. That's about it.
Yeah, Greg Williams helped him get the Super Bowl, but that's another story.
Can I just share something with you guys real quick, and then we're going to move on to another topic?
Yeah.
Here, I'm going to put it on screen because I think this is pretty interesting. So this is a tool I'm going to be using for my team-by-team breakdown here in the offseason. This is from a website called overthecap.com, and this is their cap calculator. This is just the Saints for next year. Like right now, they've got it pending free agents. They got nothing right now, according to this calculator, $50 million negative in cap space. Okay. If you cut Carr, you save $1 million. You can't cut Cam Jordan. You incur another $3.9 million in debt. $2.6 million more in debt if you cut McCoy. If you cut Raincheck, that's another $10 million. Kamara is going to cost you $15 million. I don't see how they save money other than trading one of these players.
Ramcheck restructured today, by the way.
I will tell you right now.
Okay.
The one person that you could get rid of, and I think it's time for it, would be Tyrann Mathieu. He's getting up there. He's not the same honey badger he used to be.
Mm-hmm. Now, I mean, look at this. If you cut Carr post post June 1st, you can save $30 million in cap space. That doesn't help you for the draft. That doesn't help you for free agency. It just helps you get from $50 million in the red to $20 million in the red. Carr's contract has a lot to do with that cap space number. But again, like, can you offload the Kamara contract? If you trade him, how much do you have to incur? You incur an extra $12 million in dead cap money. He's stuck. Like, you trade him post, you save a little bit of money. Like, I love this calculator, but I don't know how, if you're the Saints, you save money. You're gonna have to do what you can to build through the draft.
It's too much numbers. My head hurts looking at that.
All right, let's go on to the NFL wildcard weekend here, and we'll just go day by day, starting with Saturday's games. So Saturday we got 2 games. We got a triple header on Sunday, and then of course the Monday night.
The travesty of a Monday night football game in the playoffs.
Yeah, I know. I just have triple headers both on Saturday and Sunday, but whatever.
Yep.
It's the NFL. So all right. So on Saturday, the first game of the day is 4:30 Eastern on CBS, and it is the Chargers at the Houston Texans. So Adam, we'll start with you. Who are you? And I don't have the lines up or anything like that. If somebody else can pull that up if we want to. Otherwise, we can just talk about who's going to win the game and lose the game.
I can pull that up for you. Hang on.
Okay. Well, then, Ben, why don't we start with you? What are your thoughts on this game?
Well, if the Chargers are going to win this game, it's not going to be close. I think the Texans have been floundering for the last half of the season. The Chargers have been rising for the last half of the season.
Yeah.
In the playoffs, in any sport, who's hot? Hot hands do matter.
Yeah.
And I think that right now the Texans are too depleted. Their defense is depleted as well. This is going to be the Chargers making their points. They get their next challenge. But no, Jim Harbaugh is doing a great job there. Coach of the Year candidate for sure. And I think this is going to be a Chargers celebration this weekend.
Okay, Charlie, how about you?
Before Charlie answers, it's a 42.5 over/under. The Chargers are favored. It's really tough right now. I'm going to go with 2.5. It's very split, 2.5 or 3. It's split between the sports books.
Okay, all right.
I've got 3 for the on -3 on that game right now for the line. The Texans are plus money 130 bet if you want to roll the dice on that though. Yeah, I'm going to be with the I'm going to take the Chargers on this. I think that they're just the better coached team. I think coaching matters a lot in playoffs, especially when you're looking at a matchup like this. CJ Stroud is what I told you guys he was going to be this season. Not that great. I'm going to throw out a bet for you guys too. CJ Stroud hasn't thrown over 230 passing yards in like 3 out of his last 4 games. The over-under on his passing yards is 230 for the game. Take the under on it. Make yourself a little bit of money. But the Chargers defense is going to possibly keep Houston out of the end zone for this entire game. And Lad's going to go off. It's going to be a good one.
Okay, TJ, what are your thoughts?
Well, I honestly would love to see another Harbaugh Bowl in the playoffs. That'd be great. So I'm honestly going Chargers. I think that, with the Texans, there's so many injuries that's happened to this team that they're missing out on a lot of good players that can help CJ Stroud out. Defensively, I think they're there. I think they have the defense to play, but not to really carry that team through the playoffs. They need, I'd say in my eyes, you need a 75-25 split. And right now it's more of a who knows what split because I don't think the offense can do much. But I'm going to take the over on that. And I think the Chargers are going to put a nice little, belts to ass to the Texans.
Sorry, I just had to bring up a little European football here. So yeah.
I was watching that game today. That was a pretty decent game.
All right, Adam.
Johnny won in the cup. They won their semifinal match today.
Yep.
Now, what is that on? Are you watching that, Charlie, on Peacock or on
Paramount? Paramount's got
Okay.
man. We've been watching Series A. I don't know if you guys watched that Super Cup final, AC versus Inter, but that was a great game.
May have checked it out.
Pulisic, dude, he is on fire. He is on fire. They've also got a good documentary on him that's been out. They're in like 2 or 3 episodes that my son and I have been watching. It's been pretty interesting.
I may have to start checking that out a little bit. Okay, Adam, let's get to you here for the Chargers and Texans.
Chargers, Texans. Give me the Chargers. I think the Texans can upset here, but you're right. Hot hand is king. No, scratch that. Give me the Texans by 3.
Okay.
I think it's got. I do think it's going to be a fun game, but I do think this comes down to a field goal. I don't think the Chargers are going to get there over the hump, but a massive successful season for the Chargers in their first year with Jim Harbaugh.
Okay, well, speaking of a team that does not have a hot hand, the second game is the number 6 seed Pittsburgh Steelers at the number 3 Baltimore Ravens. We'll start, Adam. We'll start with you. I don't know what the line is. The way Pittsburgh's been playing, I would give Baltimore 7, to be honest with you, but it's probably not that.
It's a 43.5 total.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. The first line I saw, Ravens favored by 10.
I got 9.5.
It's actually 9.5 everywhere else. They're 9.5 point favorites.
Doesn't shock me at all. I mean the way Pittsburgh played against Cincy the other last week. I mean, I was like, I can't believe this team's even in the playoffs. But what are your thoughts on this one?
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna go with the Ravens to win. I have a Bills-Ravens AFC Championship and a Lions-Eagles NFC Championship. Here's the thing. I would take the Steelers spread because, look, these are 2 divisional rivals. They're going to continue to play hard. I don't think the Ravens are going to go in there in a playoff environment against Mike Tomlin, and they're going to lose by 10 points. I don't see it. So give me the Steelers line. I'll take them at plus 9.5, but I will take the Ravens to win this game.
Okay. TJ?
Ben, don't punch me through the computer. I'm going to take the Steelers on this one.
Oh.
And the only reason why, okay, I think the Steelers, yes, they've been on a very, very cold streak. I don't know. There's always something with these games that anything can happen, especially in this division with these 2 teams. It's some of the best games to watch, in my opinion, just being, so close to Baltimore. I don't think it's going to be much of a, it'll be a slobber knocker, but I think it's going to be 3 points is going to win this.
Okay. Now just before, Charles, before you give your pick, remind me, I don't have it up in front of me here, the schedule, but did they split the season or did Baltimore sweep them?
I think they split the season.
Split.
Did they, was it Ben? Do you know?
They split.
They did split. Okay, all right.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure the Ravens lost to the Steelers at M&T Bank, and then they went to Pittsburgh and beat them in Pittsburgh.
Okay, okay. Charles, what are your thoughts on this one?
Do we have an update on Flowers yet? I know when I checked
still
yesterday,
day-to-day.
he was day-to-day. They hadn't listed whether he was going to play or not.
There's
Flowers
actually there's a thing going around Baltimore. Everybody's signing it to give Zay Flowers a brand new knee before the game. So if you want to sign up for that, I will send you the link.
Oh,
nice.
Mine.
Hey, look, he's been a key part of that offense, so I get it. I mean, he's their best receiver. Rashad Bateman, he's showed flashes, and he was always a guy that I think a lot of people look at like he could be that guy, but he just hasn't been. He's serviceable, but he's not Zay Flowers. I like Baltimore to win. I like their chances to win a lot more if Flowers does play. Either way, look, the King, he's going to do royal things out there on the field, and he's going to give them the crown this week for sure. Vegas has got the Ravens are minus 550 on the money line. There's good reason for that. they're the stronger team. They're the better team. I have them going to the Super Bowl. So they're definitely going to win this. And if Flowers is in, I will take those points as well.
Okay, Ben.
So first, I gotta break it to Adam. You can't have a Bills-Ravens championship game because of the bracket. So sorry to tell you that.
Sorry.
There is this to go. No, look, the Ravens are going to win. The Steelers are going to cover. Take the under on this one. But no, this is going to be that like first momentum gaining. The Ravens have taken a lot of heat, and rightfully so, for laying friggin' eggs in the playoffs when it's come up to being big time with Lamar. This is going to be a game where there's a chance to beat a division rival down, punch them in the mouth, make a statement, and get ready for that Bills game in the divisional round so they can prepare for that championship game they want to get to as well. So it's, look, to me, the best game of the playoffs, the two games I'm looking forward to right now, which is damning on my own teams, but the Lions-Vikings trilogy in the championship game is going to be good. And that Bills-Ravens divisional matchup is going to be really good too. So I'm just praying to God that I don't have to watch a Vikings-Chiefs Super Bowl because that would be my hell.
There's no way that happened.
I would not watch if that happened. But wait, Ben, did you just say a Lions-Vikings championship game?
I think it'd be a lot of fun to see it. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I don't think it can. Well, can it happen? Okay. All right. Well, hold on. Let's go to the next.
Hold on. I have one thing to say.
Yeah.
Ben, Captain Defense is looking for his shield. I'm gonna let him know to come up there and kick your ass now.
All right. We'll go to Sunday's games. Charles, we'll start with you on this one. We got the first game is 1 p.m. Eastern on CBS. It's Denver, number 7 seed versus the number 2 seed Buffalo Bills. Who are you taking?
Oh, the Bills. This is going to be a shellacking for sure. They're gonna railroad the Broncos. Look, the Broncos were a nice story this season. They got there. They got their coach. They got rid of their sorry QB. They've got some promising talent. But this is where the story ends for them. They're not going into Buffalo and winning. They may not go into Buffalo and get 14 points. This game opened at 47-5, and that's because the Bills are probably going to score 35, 40 points. It's just I see no way. Like Denver they don't have a chance. This is another minus 550 money line on the Bills. There's good reason for that as well. I mean, they are a damn good team, and Denver is just they're on the cusp of getting good, but they ain't there. They're lucky that they're in the playoffs, and they should be happy. Denver fans should be happy that they're even there.
Denver fans should be absolutely ecstatic,
right?
In mid playoffs.
What are your thoughts, Adam? Yeah,
correct, Ben. I thought it was going to be Bills Ravens AFC Championship. It'll be Bills Ravens divisional, which will be an absolute barn burner.
It's going to be a good game.
I have Bills Lions Super Bowl. Bills are going to go all the way to the Super Bowl. Bills are going to shellac the Broncos. They are going to take them over their collective knees and spank them.
Okay, TJ, how about you? Please don't tell me you're picking the Broncos on this one. I mean, you went and picked the Steelers on Saturday. Don't tell me you're picking Sean Payton.
No. Yeah. So okay. I think you guys are not giving Denver the kudos they deserve. Not granted, yes.
We gave them the kudos they deserve.
Kudos.
You gave them kudos that came out of a whore's ass. Give them something better.
Yeah, they were a little sweaty, but they were still kudos.
Listen, I don't care if it was the second team of the Chiefs at all. They won a game against a divisional opponent, which I was very happy for them, even with their starters. That gives them some type of momentum coming into the playoffs. Now, do I think that they are going to beat the Bills? Hell no. That's a team. They're on the rise. Just like the Carolina Panthers, they're on the rise. This is going to be a team to watch out for next year. For this game, I think, yes, Bills are going to shellac them, but I think that 40, was it? You said 47.5?
Yeah, I got it right.
I think that 47.5.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the over on that because I think that this game, honestly, is going to go, I don't want to say back and forth. Maybe the second half will go back and forth. But I think
9-point spread.
I think Denver can easily put up 21 points if the Bills take their foot off the gas. So yes, I have the Bills winning. I'm not that drunk, and I'm not that high off of any medicine I'm taking tonight. Yes, I have the Bills.
Okay, Ben, how about
this is a one-score game to me, guys. This is not shellacking. The Bills pull it out because they're the better team, but the Bills have also had how many games this year where you'd have swore they're going to lose that game by halftime, looking ugly. Ugly.
I mean, even against the Patriots near the end of the year,
team, it's going to get precarious. There's a word for it, guys. Precarious for the Bills. But
that's a big word.
Yeah, get my dictionary out here, Dan.
His opinion on this game is precarious.
Stop swearing at us.
All right, Ben. I use one syllable words from now on.
No, my job.
Look, like I said, the Broncos. I will give them some flowers here with TJ. God help me. But no, it's end of the day. The Broncos showed up last week and they took care of business. Period. I don't care if it's playing backups. They took care of business against an NFL team. So, to me, I want to see Bo Nix go out there and do what he was doing at Oregon, try to prove people wrong, and just ball out. They have nothing to lose. When you're playing with house money, it's amazing what can happen. And TJ, I'm going to call you out in this one to make you feel bad again.
Oh, fuck.
And off-topic Packer reference number 5, I think. The Packer-Cowboy game last year. We had nothing to lose. We rolled in, and we waxed you guys. You haven't been able to figure out how to win at home since. So it's just worth the comment. When you have nothing to lose, it's all house money. Crazy things happen.
Can we just say, though, that after that game, it was some of the best nacho cheese when Green Bay came down there?
All right.
Someone help TJ.
Second game of the day, 4:30 Eastern time on Fox. Ben, we'll start with you. The Packers at Philadelphia. By the way, do we have an update? Has anyone heard about Jalen Hurts yet or not? Is he still?
He's still in concussion, isn't he?
He's out of protocol.
He is out of concussion protocol.
Oh, is
I
he?
thought he was practicing. I didn't think he cleared protocol yet.
Yeah, I
was out of
concussion last night. He was in concussion protocol.
Hold on. I have a buddy at work who's a diehard Eagles fan. He literally started jumping up and down, sound like a girl with pigtails screaming.
I mean, that could have happened today. He could have gotten cleared today.
Yeah.
But I thought I was hearing we weren't going to know until like Friday or so.
Well, I do know that the spread is about 4.5 for the Eagles. So what are your thoughts, Ben?
Yeah, look, I legitimately had the Packers win this game, and a few reasons why here too. We talked about before when it comes to division games and common opponents. We played the Eagles a little bit the last few years. We played them week 1 this year. There are a lot of things that I think are going the right direction where I'm going to hope the Packers got their crap out of their system the last 2 weeks. But for me, the Eagles have been fool's gold all year, winning. It's beating the Cowboys up and beating the Giants. It doesn't impress me much. So I don't think the Eagles are that good. I think the Packers are good, not great. So you have 2 good, not great teams playing each other. And again, I think the Packers are in that house money situation where it's if we lose, we lose. We're a 7 seed. We're not supposed to win, but I think we're going to. And that's why it creates, Aaron, your question before, a Vikings-Lions championship game after we get waxed the following weekend in Detroit. But
okay. All right.
See, he has not been cleared yet, but he is at practice. His final decision will be Friday.
Okay. All right. So Ben, you're picking the upset. Adam,
I'll lay the points. Absolutely.
Okay.
So just to give everyone more of an update, it is a 46.5 over under for the Broncos Bills, with the Bills favored by 8.5. The Packers Eagles. The Eagles are favored by 4.5 with a total of 45.5. Give me the Eagles in this game. Give me them to cover. I think it's close. I think it's 5. but I think they cover.
Okay. TJ, how about you?
So, Ben, I'm going to kind of piggyback off of what you said earlier. This reminds me of the Dallas Packers game last year. Green Bay has nothing to play for. I mean, yeah, pride, everything, but they're coming into a very hostile area in Philly where if you guys do lose, they're going to take your cheese and put it on their cheesesteaks. It'll probably be very delicious as well. At this point, I will say it now. The Packers will come into Philly and shut the Eagles fans up. And I hope so because I am tired of these Eagle fans saying they're going to win the championship. Yes, Saquon Barkley's pissed. He didn't get that record. I don't care. He couldn't do it in 16 games if he even tried. I don't like the Eagles. I never have liked the Eagles. Give me the Packers, and honestly, give them to me by 14.
Okay. All right. Charles, how about you?
Yeah, so Ben, I've got to go with you on one of the points you made as well. I think that the Eagles are kind of where they are because of their schedule and especially playing the Giants and the Cowboys and all this season. I feel like if the Packers were in that division, I feel like if the Packers were in that division instead of the division that they are, they would be in the same spot that the Eagles are right now. I really do. I like the Packers in this game. If Jalen doesn't play, then it's over for them for sure. But even if he does, I think that the Packers are going to go in there. I think it's going to be a tight game. I think it's going to be probably one of the better battles that we see this weekend. But I think by one score, the Packers are going to come away with the victory on this. And I like that. The Packers are plus 200 on the money line. And I think that that's probably your best bet of the weekend.
So I will say one thing, though, and this is just coming off of playing football. You know, Ben, you can agree with me on this as well. When you come back from a concussion, you are so scared, and you don't want to take that next hit. So I guarantee you Jalen Hurts is going to make those mistakes early, and that's what's going to put the Packers up early. I think the Eagles will rebound back, but I think it's going to be too little too late. And I think everybody's going to put that blame on why did you play Jalen? He had a concussion. He didn't look ready. It's going to be another Tua almost. That's what it's going to remind me of.
So that first lick is scary as all get out, man. I've had multiple balls playing, and it's terrifying. I mean, I literally forgot a semester of high school because of concussions. It's no joke. It just sucks.
Yep.
Wow.
If the Eagles lose in the first round of the playoffs, does that become the best coaching job in the NFL this season?
Yes.
That's a good question.
Because I think it's a possibility. I think
Sirianni's on thin ice.
Yeah.
Yep. So I think the Eagles are making it to the championship game of the most well-balanced team in football. But we'll see. It's going to be a fun one.
Okay. TJ, we'll start with you for the next one. The nightcap on Sunday night, 8 p.m. Eastern on NBC. We got the Commanders, number 6 seed, at the number 3 seed, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I actually kind of think this might be a fun game to watch. I mean, just with it, depending on what Jaden Daniels shows up. And I mean, because Baker Mayfield, I'll admit, he was a guy that I really couldn't stand when he started out his career, and now I enjoy it. Not that I'm going to go out and buy his jersey, but you know, he can be fun to watch. I don't know, Adam. What is the line on this one?
It's split again between the sportsbooks I'm looking at, 50 and 50.5, with a spread of the Bucks favored by 3.
Okay, TJ, why don't you start out? What do you think?
Well, first I'm gonna say fuck Baker Mayfield because he lost me last year, and I had to get Ben a hat. Okay. So
that's right.
I'm starting that out. Okay.
All right.
But I'm gonna say this: the Bucks will win this game. Yep. I think Jaden Daniels. He's a phenomenal talent this year. He's had very, very good plays as a rookie. I think it ends. There's something about rookie QBs going into the playoffs and kind of being scared. There's the butterflies, but then I call it just being scared. And I think what's going to happen is Tampa Bay is going to come out. They're going to smack them around. They're going to say, "Hey, kudos to you guys. You guys made it in with a great quarterback. Watch us do one better." And I think this is going to be the year that, Tampa smacks the ever living shit out of Washington, and I'm going to do double backflips when that happens.
Okay, Adam, what do you think?
Look, congratulations to me for saying that Jaden Daniels was the best quarterback coming out of this class. But no, in all seriousness, congratulations to the Commanders, because I didn't think they'd get this far. So congratulations, you made the playoff. Your season's a massive success. You're losing to the Bucs this weekend.
Okay. Charles, how about you? Hey, Steve.
I mentioned this earlier in the show. I am so excited about getting another Mike Evans and Lattimore matchup.
Do not play Mike Evans this weekend in DFS.
Absolutely, do not do it. This is like a gift to the Commanders for getting this matchup. They have the one tool in the NFL that can shut down Tampa Bay's best weapon. I with the matchup, man, I just, for some reason, I think the Commanders surprisingly are going to squeak this one out. It's going to be, I think, a really fun game. It's been cool seeing what Tampa Bay's done. Baker Mayfield having a renaissance down in Tampa Bay has been kind of cool. But I feel like the Commanders, they're just kind of riding high on this wave of momentum and dumb luck that has just carried them through the season. And I don't see that ending this weekend. Next weekend, absolutely. There's probably nobody else other than maybe, the Steelers that they could beat out of all the playoff teams. But they got a great matchup for themselves. Their defense is starting to click a little bit better now that Lattimore's gotten more playing time. It's going to be a fun game, and I'm going to take the Commanders in a tight one, probably some sort of crazy Hail Mary or 65-yard field goal to win it, but they're going to win it.
Okay, Ben?
Guys, this is the happy to be there bowl. Both of these teams,
well said.
They're both just happy to be there, and neither one really looks the part. Really, they're both a year or two away from really being a actual contender, but they're there. They are legitimately contending because they're in the spots they're in. Look, I have the Commanders win this game, and it's part of that's homerism, part of that's also looking at the Buccaneers and how they played this year. It's been so bipolar.
Yeah.
You take Mike Evans out of that matchup, and that offense is stagnant. Cade Otton is not winning a game for you. Bucky Irving's not winning a game for you. Not in this level anyway. Jaden Daniels with Terry McLaurin can win a game for you and will win a game for you here. So I'm actually going with my second away team here in the NFC, with the Commanders also beating the Buccaneers and then promptly getting walloped. I think we're going to have a really fun weekend this weekend, the really boring one next weekend besides that Ravens-Bills game.
Okay, Steve, welcome to the show, and what do you think of this game?
Well, first off, I'm like that bad relief pitcher that you call in when you're losing 18-0 and to throw the ninth inning. So happy to be here for the end of the show.
Calling in the catcher. Got it.
That's right. That's right. You're calling in the six string outfielder is coming in.
The outfielder that's going to throw a 45-mile-per-hour fastball.
Right.
Got it. Okay. Awesome. Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
I'm looking forward to this game. I mean, I'm happy that NBC picked this for Sunday night because I honestly think it's going to be. I mean, first off, Baker Mayfield. How happy is he not to be in that cesspool up in Cleveland and be down in Tampa Bay and actually in a playoff game? So I'm excited for that side with Mike Evans, but still. But Jaden Daniels, this is once again. I saw a meme this week. I was trying to find it of a guy that was basically like, "Hey, okay, you're playing in the game, Jaden," and it's some kind of he responds like, "Well, I'll be here, but I'm only really going to play in like the last 5 minutes of the game," kind of thing, because that's the only time that like the big stuff happens for Daniels. It seems like, and. It's true. I mean, and that's the thing. Yeah. You're going to have to wait till the end of the freaking game to see who wins this. I mean, I think the Commanders are going to pull this off. I mean, this is like a team of destiny. I mean, I feel bad for Ron Rivera. I mean, I think they needed to change and bring a guy like Dan Quinn in to get that spark, and they got the spark. I agree that, these teams I think are going to be, especially the Commanders, contenders over the next couple seasons of the playoffs. But I think this is going to be a very entertaining matchup. And the Commanders, it's going to come down to the end like it always is. And they're going to pull off some way to win this game.
Okay. Is this the worst coaching, like the two worst coaches in the whole playoff this year? Like Dan Quinn and was Raheem Morris right down in Tampa Bay now?
Yep.
Like, is that
no? Raheem Morris is with.
Raheem's. Isn't it Todd Bowles?
Atlanta.
Todd Bowles,
yeah.
Sorry, I'm
Todd Bowles.
Morris is Atlanta.
Yeah.
But you're talking about two retreads that have both failed miserably in multiple places before. Like, this might be the worst, two worst coaches in the playoffs, both getting that. Yeah, like I said, so they're happy to be there, Bull, and I'm happy to watch it.
Yep.
See, and it's funny too because there's a thing going around here in DC that says if Dan Quinn puts his hat forwards, they're going to lose the game. I'm going to force him to put his hat forward.
I don't see that one.
Yes. All right, let's go to Monday night, and we have the number 5 seed Minnesota Vikings at the number 4 Rams. Steve, since you got started late, we'll start off with you in this one. Actually, Adam, what's the spread on this one?
Final game of Wild Card Weekend. This is a 47.5 over/under. Some spots have it at 48. Your spread for this game is the Vikings by 1.
That's a little crazy. So, okay, Steve, go ahead. What are your
because it's opened to 2-5.
Yeah, it has. Okay, Steve, what are your thoughts on this one?
Well, first off, thoughts to everyone out in the LA area being affected by the wildfires. It postponed a hockey game. There's thoughts that depending on how things go, it may affect this game, even though it is on the back end of the weekend.
Well, yeah, because I was actually thanks for bringing that up because we were watching the news earlier tonight showing all the devastation. They were saying that apparently it sounds like the winds are supposed to die down like overnight and then tomorrow, but then they're supposed to pick back up again over the weekend. So hopefully it dies down enough for them to get that under control. But would they maybe possibly go down to Vegas or something, or if that, in order to keep the game? I mean, it's only 3 hours away, neutral site, something like that. But anyway, Steve, go
or Sanford.
Maybe Sanford. I'll be honest, I'm not really sure my opinion if that's going to matter where the hell they play this game. But go ahead, Steve.
No, thanks. I'm. This is a very intriguing because this was basically Minnesota. I mean, they lost that game on. And ended up being the 5 seed, so they had to hit the road. And I think it's gonna be a very competitive game, but let's see who shows up for the Rams. I mean, if the Rams offense clicks, we've got something going on here. If the Rams offense is missing a beat, I mean, Sam Darnold is on redemption tour. I mean, he is just tearing it up in Minnesota. And, this is a team that, I mean, think about it. They could have landed of all of these cold weather places to play a wild card game, and they end up in LA, and the dome's probably going to be closed because I don't think they have an open dome in LA, but they're basically getting home kind of cooking because they're playing in an indoor environment for this game. So it's not. The weather will not be a factor in this one. Maybe some air quality issues, but they'll probably filter it out with the stuff. They probably have like the most advanced air filtering at that stadium. But I agree with
a $2 billion stadium. They probably should have the most.
They should have,
system, but yeah.
But I mean, a 1-point game is a 1-point game, and I don't think that line is off. I mean, I think it's going to be either it's going to be a very rough game if LA doesn't show up, or it's going to be a shootout to the end, and we're going to have a back and forth between two pretty good quarterbacks and two pretty good offenses if they're clicking. I'm going to take the Vikings though to head out of LA. I know everybody's all like, what's going to happen if the Chargers and the Rams both make it to the conference championships? What would they do? And it's like, I don't think they're both going to make it. And I think Minnesota's going to go back home with a win this weekend.
Okay. Ben, how about you?
I've been crapping on the Rams for 20 weeks. Why would I stop now? Look, the Rams still aren't that good. I'm sorry. They're not. And so the Vikings are good. And this is going to be the 1 point line is kind of insulting, frankly. And I'm fine with insulting the Vikings anytime I can. So good job, bettors, insulting the Vikings. But no, look, this is going to be an absolute curb stomp by the Vikings on the Rams, and it's going to make Matt Stafford question his career if he wants to keep playing or not. You're going to see it's going to be a disaster area when the Rams are absolutely smeared over the field by the Vikings, and you'll hear the stupid skull chants even in freaking LA.
Well, and to your point, Ben, the Rams remind me a lot of the Buccaneers. And you brought up the bipolar, of the Buccaneers. Yep. I feel that way even once Kupp and Nakua came back healthy.
Yep.
There were still some games you thought they should. I mean, what was the final score? Was it 45-42? The Rams beat the Bills. And then there were some games where they could barely get double digits, and you're thinking they should be putting 42 up against this team, and they didn't. So, I'm hoping it's the team that beat the Bills that shows up. But anyway, Adam, why don't we go with you? What are your thoughts on this one?
So this is probably the biggest toss-up game of the weekend.
You think so?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because on one hand, the Vikings have shown that. Look, on one hand, the Vikings have shown they can do really well. They can show they can disappear against the future Super Bowl champion Lions. The Rams are a very one-dimensional team right now. They are offense, don't have a defense, and I guess they're okay on special teams. But that being said, Rams upset the Vikings here. They get the win and stick it to overrated Sam Darnold.
Overrated.
Yeah.
Team JJ McCarthy.
TJ, how about you? What are your thoughts on this one?
I want to kind of piggyback off of what Adam said. I want to see what Vikings team shows up this week. Is it going to be the one that, before the last game of the year was hot, they were good, Sam Darnold was, playing very hot? Or is it going to be the team that showed up to Detroit and just looked like some peewee team came in there and gave them a pep talk? I said, "Hey guys, you could beat them. Go do it." I mean, that's I think what this game comes down to is how are they going to play, and is this going to be a hangover loss, knowing that you're a 14-3 team and a fifth seed, where you could have had the number 1 seed, and Detroit would have been vice versa. I think this is going to be a game. It is definitely a massive toss-up game, but I think this is going to be a game that the Vikings have to prove themselves that they were not a fluke at being a 14-win team to come in here and play. On the offhand, the Rams, they are bipolar as hell. I would love to see the Rams beat the Vikings because fuck Skull. I hate the Skull, but I don't know. I'm gonna flip a coin on this one, and honestly, if I had to say, I'm gonna give it to the Vikings, but I think it's gonna be very low scoring. Give me 21-19. I mean, I feel like it's gonna be a very sloppy game.
Okay, Charles, how about you?
Yeah, I have to go with TJ on that last sentiment there. This is not going to be a pretty game, I don't think. They're like everyone said, these are two teams that, both at times have looked really good and at times have not looked really good. I don't think we're going to have a lot of offensive output in this game at all. That said, I think this past week was a kind of a gut check reality moment for Sam Darnold that he is not going to be able to overcome. And I think because of that, the Rams are going to take this one. It's going to be close, man. It really is a toss-up game, but I feel like the Rams are going to have just a little bit of an edge in this one, and they'll win a tight one maybe by a field goal or so.
Okay. All right, let's
in
go.
all seriousness, Sam Darnold has played himself for a contract. I still think what he's done this season is a little bit overrated. I think it has more to do with the system. I'm very happy for him as a player. He's only in his mid-20s. I'm happy for him. He's going to get a shot somewhere else. And again, I just think the Rams pull this off.
Yeah, I agree.
And I hope you're right. Okay, let's go on to the college football semifinals. It starts tomorrow night.
Hey, Aaron, really quick before we jump to college, contingency site is Arizona. State Farm Stadium is where they would move the game if the NFL deems they can't play in LA. Okay.
All right. Well, hopefully they don't have to worry. They won't have to worry about that.
Also, one last thing about the NFL, and I'm sorry, just we're talking about Wild Card Weekend. Knuckles is expected to be back for the divisional round. How about that? David Montgomery expected to be back for the divisional round.
That's right, which makes it even better.
Real.
Yeah.
That's all. That's a big piece of news.
That is a big piece of news.
Big piece of football news.
Though Gibbs did a pretty damn good job of showing that they didn't, really have to worry about rushing David Montgomery back. But
yeah, no kidding. 4 touchdowns against one of the best rush defenses in the NFL. Yep. Thanks you, Jahmyr Gibbs, who I faded in DFS.
All right, so we got the Capital One Orange Bowl coming up tomorrow night at 6:30 on ESPN. Penn State and Notre Dame, the Fighting Rudies, and it looks like Notre Dame's favored by 1.5. Let's start with TJ. Why don't you give us your? Actually, no, we'll let you start the next one because your Longhorns are playing that one. Ben, why don't we start with this one?
This is going to be a fun football game, guys. So I think this is where James Franklin turns into James Franklin, and Notre Dame's going to win the game. Penn State has played well at this point. Credit to them. They have. But I think this is going to become that point where it's a little too much. And I do think that Notre Dame gets that elusive change of game berth they're looking for in a tough clash with Penn State.
Okay, Steve, what are your thoughts? I know you're a Penn State guy here.
Yeah, but as much as I can be, I'm Penn State when I really need to root for somebody and Pitt's not available. But here's the thing: this is James Franklin's litmus test game. This is it. This is him stacking up against, because he's come out shots fired. He brought one out, I think yesterday or today, saying that every team should be in a conference, basically taking a shot at Notre Dame, saying they've got an easier path to get to these things because their body of work is independently evaluated outside of a conference. So he's not, he's not taking things laying down. But I hear that Penn State's got some injuries, so it could be a tougher adventure for them. And with the way that Notre Dame played that last game, my jaw just kept dropping. So I don't think it's going to be a cakewalk for Penn State. And honestly, I'm very highly thinking that it's going to be a Notre Dame win. This is funny because, the way things fell into place, over at Notre Dame when the coaching change happened and everyone was like, what's going on? This is, so unexpected. And Marcus Freeman has come in and basically just taken over and put Notre Dame in a very positive position. And with the way those buys hurt all those teams and the top 4 seeds all fell, I think that unfortunately this might be the Catholic year of destiny for the playoff. This could be Notre Dame's year. So I'm taking Notre Dame over Penn State in this one.
Okay, TJ.
I'm kind of sad Charles isn't here because, man, I'm about to just dog the shit out of these Bulldogs, man. I kept saying the SEC is the best division and the best conference. Damn
that's why he left. That's why he took a break right now.
Damn right it is, man, because Texas is still in there proven that the SEC is the best conference out there. Could not beat. Oh, I mean, come on. Come on. And I even told him, I said, you know what? I was going to give it to Georgia to beat them because I'd love to play Georgia in the national championship. And man, the Bulldogs do what the Bulldogs do. They took a shit somewhere they shouldn't have. Honestly, this game, though,
SEC is the best.
Oh, there he is.
There he is.
Yeah, wouldn't it be a kick in the teeth to all you SEC guys if it was Ohio State and Penn State in the national championship game? That would.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it won't be.
Anyway, TJ, go ahead.
So I think this is going to be a very good game. I think Penn State is. I don't truly think Penn State's a national championship caliber team right now. Notre Dame has so many. They proved themselves against Georgia. Georgia, yes, had a backup, but Georgia was still the same Georgia team that went through the rest of the year without one person. I mean, to be honest with you, they were missing Carson Beck. So, for Notre Dame to come in there and beat Georgia kind of surprised me a little bit. I was very happy, but I was also sad at the same time. I think Notre Dame is going to win this one, and I think they're going to win it handily too. I think they're going to show Penn State what real bruiser football is, and there's going to be an independent in the national title.
Okay, Adam, you have an opinion on this one? Are you going to watch this one?
None of them, other than Abdul Carter, is going to destroy them because that's the only player I know from Penn State. Kind of, sorta. I don't care who wins this game. I think Notre Dame probably wins, but I think Penn State might have the defensive firepower to win it. I have no clue.
All right, Charles.
By the way, here, Adam, for this game, watch Penn State quarterback Aller. He's going to be a legitimate top draft candidate.
He's one of the names I'm hearing for next year.
Warren, the number 44 tight end for Penn State, dude's legit. That guy is going to be a rock star.
Yeah, he's if he gets a good team, that kid is going to thrive.
Like
there's no Bowers.
Like Abdul Carter and Warren, both those guys should both be Patriot targets if you want to see your team get better. Like that would be a legit tight end to put back in that offense and help out Drake May.
More than Harold Fannin Jr. from Bowling Green?
Yes.
Interesting.
It's not even close. I'm telling you right now, this kid's one of the best tight ends I've watched in college football in a long time.
And when do these games take place? Friday?
Tomorrow and Friday.
Tomorrow Friday. Yep. One's tomorrow tomorrow night on ESPN, and then the other one we'll talk about that in just a second. Charles, what are your thoughts on this game?
Well, first, I just want to remind TJ that the Dogs beat Texas twice this season. Twice.
Still can't make it to the championship game.
Hey, you know what? We beat y'all twice. So
still in it.
Is what it is. Is what it is. No, I think that, I've got my Chipper Jones quote. I'll save that for just a second. I'm going to make sure though that we can that I read that. But I think Notre Dame is going to take this one. They're a strong team. They have a great coach. They're a great coached team. They really are. They come up with solid game plans for their opponents. The adjustments. Look, that Georgia Notre Dame game, man. Georgia came out. They made adjustments in the second half, and it took Notre Dame like half of the third quarter to figure that out, adjust, and just stop them. And I think we're going to probably see that same type of play in this game tomorrow night as well. Whatever is thrown at them, I think they're going to have an answer for. And I see them going to the championship game.
Okay. All right. Then TJ, we'll start with you for Friday night's game. We have Texas and Ohio State. Ohio State, though they are the lower seed, is favored by 5.5. I think they were favored, if I'm not mistaken, against Oregon too. But TJ, go ahead. What are your thoughts on this one?
So, there's a lot of factors coming into this game. This is a home game for the Longhorns. It is in Dallas. I'm very excited about that. It is a home game. The only thing I'm very worried about with this game is the outside. Everything that Ohio State does is in the outside, and every coach knows that. They can game plan it for all they want. Chip Kelly is going to do Chip Kelly stuff with this team. when you look at this quarterback for Ohio State, he's 0-3 versus Texas. He was at K-State. Will Howard. I don't care where you came from. It doesn't matter. You can be from some amazing D1 school, come in and still lose to Texas. I think I have my worries about this game, but I think Texas will pull it out. I want to see history because 1970, Texas won the national title against Notre Dame. I want to see that again. I watched the game film. My grandfather was there. He told me all about it. You know, God rest his soul. He was the biggest Longhorns fan you will ever meet. I think Texas gets this one, but I think it's going to go into overtime. This is going to be another ASU game. It's going to go back and forth. Texas is going to make some stupid mistakes. We're all going to yell at Quinn Ewers saying that he sucks and he needs to go somewhere else. But I also think this is going to be a game where Quinn Ewers shows Ohio State, you never should have let me sit. You should have started me.
Okay. So what do you got? You got a score that you want to put out there or not?
You know what? Yeah. Give me 39-31 in double OT.
Oh, all right. All right. Charles, what about you for this one?
All right. Texas is going to win this.
Texas.
I have a hard time believing that an SEC team will not be in the championship, even though they're the newcomers. It's all right. They're our last hope, so I'm going to pull for them. I just think, look, Ohio State, they played a hell of a game last week, but I just don't think that they've got what it takes to win this game. I really don't. I don't. Texas, look, man, Texas has had tougher competition across the board all season. Like, seriously, Ben, dude, across the board, the SEC is a stronger conference and puts up tougher competition. They eat themselves. They swallow themselves. That's why more SEC teams weren't in the playoffs. I mean, that's legit. We just play tougher football. And now I'm going to bring up, and this is because there is a lot of hate going around about the SEC. And this is a tweet from my man, Chipper Jones. This comes from the Real CJ10 account. All right, now this is 3 days old, so the basketball stat may have changed slightly. But this is what Chipper says. A lot of hate lately versus the SEC because they're having a down year at the top in football and may not win the Natty for once. I think Ohio State and Notre Dame are the two best teams as we speak. Now let's look at the 170-26 record in men's basketball up to this point for the entire conference in basketball before conference play. Let's look at the top 25 in baseball every year that has 10 to 12 teams in it and is a finals contender annually. You may have your bragging rights in football this year, but don't act like all the big three sports in America don't run through them. The SEC is king. Don't get it twisted. Just so you know, I signed with the U out of high school, but the numbers and championships tell the story over the long haul. Chipper is spot on. The SEC is the top. They provide the best sports atmosphere and the best competition across the board for their teams. They have a tougher schedule.
Okay,
Texas
can I
has
just
been playing harder teams than Ohio State
Mr.
all
Feinbaum.
year long. And the only one they couldn't beat was the Georgia Bulldogs. They're going to handle Ohio State.
Okay. Can I just say one thing about Chipper Jones' comment? I find it funny that he included baseball, seeing as like half the teams in the North don't even have freaking baseball teams. But that's
well, it's Chipper, so he's got.
I know.
Let me ask you this, Charles. I'm the SEC in bowl games this year. What's their record?
I'd have to pull it up.
I have it right here.
Half and half. I mean, I think they may have lost what, 2 more than they won.
They're 8-6.
All right, there you go. Yeah, better than I thought.
But do you know what their worst loss was in the SEC?
Well, if you ask me, it was losing to Notre Dame.
No, it was when Navy beat Oklahoma.
Oklahoma. I thought they played Arkansas.
Nope, they played Oklahoma.
Oh, they played Oklahoma. Okay.
So
yeah, but
yes,
and Oklahoma
SEC
was like one of our worst teams in the conference this year. They were shit. They were terrible.
All right, Ben, what are your thoughts? Let's get a non-SEC person in here. Ben, how do you think this game is going to go?
I find it hilarious that the SEC is using our playbook on how to defend their own conference. When we talk about basketball, Big Ten basketball is better. Shut up. It's not close. History is on our side there, buddy. It's not close. Aside Kentucky, you guys are trash. So trash, but anyway.
Used to be that way, not anymore. Auburn, Florida, come on.
But take a look at both conferences side by side. You talk about records. Take a look side by side right now. It's the reality is this year the Big Ten is better. It's okay to admit it. It's okay.
We're in the top 5 right now in basketball.
The Big Ten is better in football. We're talking about football right now. Charlie, I'll tear you apart the next 2 months in basketball. It's fine. But right now I'm talking about football. And the reality here is in football this year, the Big Ten is better. That's okay. The last 5 years, the SEC was better, but not this year. And this Friday night, I am picking against myself here from previous. Ohio State beats Texas, and it gives us an Ohio State Notre Dame called the Brady Quinn's Family Bowl or AJ Hawk Bowl, however I phrase that one. But look, Texas should be winning this game, but they won't. And this is where Georgia was 3 plays away from being an 8-4 team this year. They snuck by some games they shouldn't have got. They got them. They won. That's all that matters. The wins are all that matters. Texas is a better team when it comes down to the overall build, but Georgia's better at finishing. Because Texas won't be playing Arizona State again, they're going to lose this game. Because you're facing wide receivers who can ball out, you're playing an SEC running back in Quinshon Judkins who's going to ball out for Ohio State. There are a lot of pieces to this game that Texas has to prove me wrong on. Quinn Ewers has to prove a lot of people wrong right now, and that Longhorn defense needs to play up to their hype. They have to show up, and I don't trust them to right now. So that's why I hate Ohio State way more than I dislike Texas. But Ohio State wins this game, and I'll be sad with you, TJ, when that result happens. So, unfortunately, looking at a Notre Dame Ohio State championship, which sounds like Aaron's hell. So
yeah,
here we go.
It is. I'll be in the shower crying in the corner, and sucking on my thumb. Okay, Steve, what are your thoughts on this game?
This is what blows my mind is that the talk is still floating around for both James Franklin and Ryan Day that even though they've advanced this far in the college football playoffs, they're still playing for their jobs. I mean, I'm just blown away that folks are not confident enough in their football. I mean, I'm looking at Ryan Day's head coaching record, and I mean, he's 3-3 in bowls right now. So, I mean, he's not like tearing up the world, but there's a lot worse that you can do than Ryan Day. And, to be
is he over against Michigan though? Isn't that, or has he beaten Michigan at least once?
I'm trying to remember if I don't have the.
Yeah, I don't think. Okay. Anyway, go ahead.
What was that? I heard somebody else.
He has not beat them.
Yeah, I didn't think so. Yeah. I think that's one of the.
There's part of it right there. But this is basically, I think Ohio State has, as everyone said, a very good chance of winning this game. Ohio State is on a hot streak right now. They are coming in as the outsider from the Big Ten. They didn't play in the conference championship game. They kind of just came in, and I think that they're riding a hot streak. They're like that thing at the casino. You sit down at the table, you got that dealer, you just kept getting deal blackjacks, and you're just throwing down the money. And I think that's where Ohio State is right now. I think even though you're going to Dallas and it's going to be that thing is going to be Texas all over the place. I mean, it's going to be a home game for the Longhorns. Ohio State doesn't care. They're going to go in there, and I think they're going to tear it up, and I think they're punching their tickets. I don't think it's going to be a blowout, but I think Ohio State's going to pull away, and they're going to make a statement with this game.
Okay. Adam, any thoughts? Go ahead, TJ.
So I will say the last time that Texas and Ohio State played in a bowl game against each other was at AT&T Stadium in 2008, I believe. And Texas won in overtime, 27-20.
Okay. Well, and you picked him to win in
What's up?
The game is now old enough to drive, so that's cool.
Sorry.
I'm sorry, TJ. That had to was right there.
All right, Adam, what are your thoughts on this one?
Go football.
Okay. All right.
All right, hold on.
Ohio State, from what I've heard, seems like.
Are you going to do this?
Team left.
Hold on, Adam. Are you this or are you that? That's what we got to know.
I'm picking Ohio State to win the whole thing.
Okay,
they
so
seem
just
like the
do
best
this.
team left.
Just do this.
Those thingies. Cowabunga.
Fuck you.
Moving on. Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to the last topic of the night, and that would be the WWE making its debut on Netflix. I know Ben watched it. TJ, I think you and Combsy were going back and forth with some entertaining comments that I kept thinking I should get out my computer and log up Netflix.
Let's. I'm pretty sure the cops were looking at what we were saying. It's all good.
All right, so I'm going to stay out of this part of the conversation. Why don't? What were thoughts? What were some thoughts?
I didn't get the last breaking, but yeah.
What were your thoughts, Adam, on the debut of Netflix and the WWE?
From what I saw, really good show. Little too much pandering to Netflix, yes. But I thought the new black ring mat looked really nice. They're clearly going for sponsorship money because you saw a lot of sponsorships on the logos. I thought the new drone cameras looked amazing. I'd love to get the drone cameras that don't feel like I'm going back to like this 40-80 style of using things. But I thought the drone cameras was a nice touch. I'm personally not the biggest fan of the smaller entrance areas, but the way they changed it up to have a complete walkout now, and it blended the I thought was nice. The Intuit Dome with their lights on all the seats was annoying. I don't know if that's specifically to annoy the players playing, but not a fan of it. So I want to see them in a different venue. And the biggest negative is we didn't get Penta El Cerro to debut like he was supposed to, but that'll be next week. I thought the whole overall package looked really nice, really nicely done overall. And it'll be interesting to see how they do going forward.
Now, everything, because what the WWE or Netflix bought the WWE or WWE bought Netflix or I can't remember.
They got the rights to Monday Night Raw.
Oh, so that's okay. That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah,
so
it's a TV contract, for lack of a better term.
Just Raw though, not everything from WWE. Just
no.
Raw.
So SmackDown was on Fox. Now SmackDown's on the USA Network. So USA saw a massive market for wrestling, but WWE saw the billions coming from Netflix and
all your like PLEs are still going to be off of Peacock.
Correct. That hasn't changed yet. It's just the TV contract for Raw.
Okay, gotcha. All right, TJ, what were your thoughts on the whole thing?
I'll be honest. This was the first Raw that I've watched in about probably 10 years.
Yeah, I watched part of it a lot longer than I have anything else. I'm right there with you.
I haven't had like cable. We've been doing streaming services. We've had WWE. We watch the PLEs all the time. When they said they were going to Netflix, I was like, all right, we have to get this. The beginning of it, I think the Rock coming out at the beginning was perfect for that. There was a lot that he said that was very true. And, this wasn't him being the final boss. This wasn't him being, The Rock. This was him being Dwayne Johnson and actually, talking from the heart. I mean, the dude has put so much of his life in that company that it was awesome for him to do that.
Agreed.
I think the one thing that I didn't like was how the Roman Reigns match was right away. I wanted to save that maybe before the CM Punk match would have been a good one to do. There was just so much that was crammed into 3 hours. It was honestly 3 hours and 26 minutes. And they said it, they were going to put it a 4 hour show, whatever. It would have been fun to watch. But I think the way that Netflix had it for this very first show was awesome. Yes, the cameras were amazing. It kind of got me dizzy after a while seeing the drones like going around the arena as they were wrestling. I was like, dude, just stay pan on the arena, pan it on the ring. I want to watch the fight. I don't want to see a drone going around the giant, scoreboard. It was cool. You're into it, Dome. It was awesome. I think in my favorite part, and it was something that Combs and I were talking about, was not just the Rhea Ripley match because goddamn, it was when Undertaker came out. I think that was awesome. He came out the American Badass after Rhea Ripley won. It was awesome. I think, as watching, the Undertaker, my whole life of watching wrestling, him coming out to her, I feel like there's going to be something. I feel like that's going to play a part this year where he may be making face a little more for the rest of 2025, and then we go to the last match of the night. Ben, I was thinking about you the whole night. The whole night, I was like, man, Ben's got his CM Punk shirt on. He's rooting for CM Punk the whole night. Right when CM Punk, he hit that 1, 2, 3. Ben's up there. He take his shirt off, swinging around. I was like, yeah, CM Punk, man.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, Ben, did I embarrass you there?
It was like you had a camera right in his basement.
I know.
Crazy. Ben, what were your thoughts?
It was great though.
Look, my biggest complaint with these shows normally is I want to watch wrestling. If I'm going to watch wrestling, I want to watch wrestling, not 2.5 hours of promos and a half hour of ring work. So my biggest complaint is looking at the breadth of the show. Give me more matches. There needs to be more matches if we're going to do this. I get it, you're trying to pump people up. But I want to see some more. I want to see story builds. And again, promos are part of story builds. I get that. But let me watch some wrestling, please. It's my biggest complaint.
Yeah, but you knew this was going to be a massive promo night. It's their debut on Netflix.
I was going to ask.
Netflix's hugest thing.
Yeah,
I get that, but you've got, with everything we have in today's world, especially X, Instagram, or TikTok in there. You have all these different ways you can put promos and pieces out there, and you can snip them. Give me ring work. Give me more of the. And AEW does a good job at this one, where the talent goes to business for themselves in their social medias, and that means something. It gives you something more to follow on your time. You can follow who you want to follow, and that's one thing that I think would be better versus being force-fed all of the promo work by one person. I can track what I want to track then.
Well, and that was one thing I was going to ask. Do you think now that they've done their debut on Netflix, do you think it's going, do you think subsequent shows of Raw on Netflix will be more ring work, or do you think this is what you're going to get every freaking Monday? I mean,
well, I look at SmackDown for my example here. SmackDown, went to Fox, especially right away, was a lot of talk and very little action. No. Over time, it did evolve into it, but I think right now it's almost a reboot, acknowledging that the fan base is now shifting. You brought a lot more viewers on bringing on Netflix. You also have to reintroduce everybody to this wider fan base, and so as a consistent fan, it's annoying. But yeah, I mean, if you're gonna bring up a new Harry Potter movie, you wouldn't just throw in the middle of trying to whatever. Like you're going to have some build of who's Harry Potter, who's Ron Weasley.
Sure.
So random Harry Potter reference, guys. There you go. That's another track we can put up there for him.
Fucking nerd.
What are you talking about? No. So it's overall all the points that TJ and Adam made. I'm aligned with. I think there's a lot of good visual pieces. There's a lot of good changes about this. But I'll always complain if I can't see actual wrestling. I watch around wrestling.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Charles, are you a wrestling fan?
At times, yes. And
Did you check this out?
I had gotten really back into it for a while there, but the boys, they've kind of moved on to Pokemon and hockey, and I've gone with them. So I haven't watched it yet. I'm gonna go back and check it out. I am gonna say one thing though. Rhea Ripley's not that hot. She looks like China's little brother.
Sir, if that match was in, hold on. If that match was in your face for 5 seconds, you would not die a happy man. Bullshit.
I'd be wishing it was Liv Morgan.
Ew.
Don't lie, Charlie. You want Dirty Dom.
Okay.
You don't want that.
I'll take Charlotte Flair over her.
Ew.
Give me Becky. Give me any of them.
You know what? You can have Nia Jax, and we'll take Rhea Ripley.
Nia probably more fun.
Oh my God.
From what I've seen from the house shows, I'm pretty sure she is.
Now, Steve, do you watch wrestling at all?
The only thing that I cared about was seeing that they flipped the announcing teams. That's what I cared about. I want to get the opinions of the wrestling folks in the room. I know they flipped Cole back to Raw and put Tessitore on SmackDown, even though Tessitore just started on Raw. Any thoughts from the peanut gallery about the flip-flop of teams?
Tessitore's done. Tessitore is not there.
He's on SmackDown, isn't he?
It'll most likely be Wade Barrett and Corey Graves.
Oh. Yeah, Tessitore was on the after show, before they had the press conference. He was on the after show, but that's all he was on.
He was there to be the stopgap fill until McAfee came back, because McAfee was contracted for College Game Day, and that's where he left for 4 months. Came back. This is where he was going to be at. I mean, the Pat McAfee show was at the Intuit Dome. You could see the WWE advertising in the background on the little sidebars. But Tessitore was just there as a stop. It was just there for 4 months.
Now,
I think. I mean, it's
watching the Tyson Paul debacle. Mauro Ranallo being there refueled my fire to want to see him. And now that they're on Netflix, I'm hoping there's a Netflix contract there somehow. I want Mauro
back. Absolutely.
Mauro made NXT events feel so amazing.
100%.
It was, and I'll even go through when you got a whole arena chanting taglines from your announcer that they can't even hear. It's awesome. When you have Mamma Mia, literally the entire Smoothie King Center in New Orleans chanting Mamma Mia during a match because Mauro saying it. It's pure fire, gentlemen. Mauro is gold, and I hope that we can get him back on the mic for WWE at some point sooner than later.
All right. Well, why don't we wrap the show up here with 4 minutes on high? If anyone, Steve, you got something you want to get off your chest here for a couple minutes?
I think mine's very quick, but mine is about this whole college football playoff. And we've had discussions internally in our little group about what's the right way to do this. How do we make this right? Because honestly, the buys suck. We've now determined that the buys suck. We were all like, Oregon's going to get the number 1 seed and have a cakewalk to the national championship, and then they get their what's blown off in their game. So I am all in favor of 16. I'm going 16. I don't think there needs to be any buys. Let's go 16. I mean, they should be salivating over the revenue that they can make on those games if they plan this properly. And this will get quality teams in. It should limit the number of people that are chomping and saying, well, you're leaving the guys outside of the big conferences out. I mean, Boise State showed up and they did what they were supposed to do, and they tried to beat Penn State and it didn't work. But I think they need to go to 16 and really just try to do more. I mean, March Madness has set the standard. They've got to figure out a way to hype things up a little bit more. I mean, you had the highest attended game in the first round get the lowest TV rating, the Penn State SMU game. But let's see how these last 3 games turn out, and then rethink things as we go into this next contract. That's all I got.
Yeah, I know Troy is always a big fan of the idea that 8 is the perfect number, but I think we'd all agree that they're never going to go back now that they've gone, up. So I think 16 might be. I keep hearing 14, but I just kind of feel like just go to 16, and because we all know it's going. If it goes to 14, it'll eventually go to 16. I think. So.
There's no buys in March Madness. Why should there be buys in the CFP?
Exactly. All right. So Ben, you have a topic for your 4 minutes on high.
Guys, I'm always burning. You guys know this. So let's just take a moment to enjoy bad teams not being bad right now. Detroit Lions, I am happy for you, little bro. You don't suck this year. You still hate me. That's fine. I can take your hate. I'm used to winning. I'm a winner. I'm a Packer fan. I'm used to this. Enjoy your shit city with your shit pizza, and you're finally a good team. Proud of you, boys. And then, Bear fans, something kind of funny happened after September ended, didn't it? Oh, yeah, your team was what they were. They are who we thought they were? Yeah,
garbage.
The Bears still suck. So congratulations on that one as well. In Minnesota, you laid the egg we knew you were waiting to drop on everyone in that Lions game, and you also suck. Skull is a good dip and a horrible chance. So let's just go ahead and say it right now. The Lions are set to really run through the NFC. I'm looking forward to seeing the Bills and the Lions exercise some demons in a Super Bowl where I don't even care the loudmouth idiots with cheese graters in their head, when we're not even playing them, are going to go in there and enjoy trying to win a game. Look, it's going to be fun. New Orleans with Lions fans and Bills Mafia would be awesome. Call it what it is. It would be awesome. Be good for football. It'd be lighthearted. Everybody can get behind it. It would be actual good old-fashioned American fun. I hope I'm wrong with the Texas-Ohio State game, TJ, for your sake. But like I said, guys, to all those fan bases that are used to suck, that don't quite suck as bad right now, I'm happy for you, little guys. Good job. Keep going, Slugger. I'm out.
All right, Adam, how about you? You got something you want to talk about?
Goodness. Well, little Slugger. Okay. All right. For me, as I get all the monitors and stuff here, look, it's going to be an amazing NFL playoff season. We're going to be treated to, hopefully, as many amazing games as possible. Coaching carousel, Patriots, you need to bring Ben Johnson here. You need to give him 100% unequivocal, full control of the team and front office. Kraft, you give him a blank check. We go out, we trade a second. I'll just go and say this, what I would do as GM. I'm going out immediately. I'm trading a second-round pick for Metcalf and a fourth this year. I'm getting Metcalf back. I'm giving Trey Smith a ridiculous amount of money. I'm giving DK Metcalf a lot of money. I'm getting Ronnie Stanley. And that shores up a guard. It shores up right tackle. Get rid of a Menahu and put him back to guard. I'm drafting Kelvin Banks Jr. in the first round, and then I'll eventually get a center behind David Andrews. I'm going to draft depth behind that offensive line. I'm going to immediately fix that offensive line with those pieces. Draft a right tackle to learn behind Stanley. Banks is a tackle of the future. I'm going to have Metcalf. I'm going to have Polk. I'm going to have Baker. I'm going to have Douglas. If we can somehow sign T. Higgins too, that gets me Metcalf and Higgins and Douglas. And we already have Henry. Drafting Scatterboo in the third. Drafting Fannin Jr. in the third. And I've immediately fixed this offense. Piece together defense next year and continue to draft players. Fixes the offense. But that being said, love one another, people.
Oh, sorry.
All right.
Yes, Ben.
What was that, Ben?
Oh, it's the Pats still suck.
Oh, okay.
I know we suck. We gave up the number 1 pick. You don't get to tell me. I was pissed. I was rooting for the Bills.
You guys suck at sucking even.
All right, DJ, you got something for you get off your chest?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. Charles, sir.
Oh boy.
We've talked our shit. We've loved each other. I actually rooted for Georgia to beat. What was it, Notre Dame? Right?
Yep.
Yeah, Notre Dame. Okay. Why the hell did you let a leprechaun whoop that ass? I just gotta know. You're supposed to be a terrifying bulldog. You look like a fucking chihuahua out there. Backup quarterback, hey, and you did say something about that backup quarterback. I was very impressed with him.
Yep.
Dude, he's a stud. I'm gonna be terrified of him next year.
Yep.
He's a
But
stud
y'all
who
like
put up 10 points.
Yeah, but y'all look like chihuahuas. I'm sorry. Ain't no bulldogs out there. If we're gonna say who's the king of the SEC, y'all won the championship, that's fine. But who's still standing right now? That's what I gotta know. Did I want to see Georgia win? Hell yeah. Because I really wanted to face Georgia in the championship game. Would have been a hell of a season. Georgia ain't all that. They may have been a couple of years ago, but they ain't all that right now. So all I got to say is this. It's all good. Yes, SEC is a great conference to come into. I was welcomed with open arms. But this ain't the only championship this year that Texas is taking in the SEC.
All right. Shots fired. We'll end it up here with Charles. Charles is always the one that brings the fire. So why don't we
Well, Texas ain't taking any championships in the SEC yet. I just want to point that out. But I'm not going to let TJ bait me into changing my topic. And I'm going completely off of sports, okay? I wore this shirt tonight for a reason. Everything I know, I learned on the streets. These streets. HBO Max. What the fuck is your problem? You say that you want to focus on adult and family programming, but you have decided not to renew the contract of one of the greatest shows ever fucking made, and that is Sesame Street. As of right now, the 2026 season of Sesame Street will be the final season of Sesame Street. And I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to live in a fucking world that doesn't have Big Bird and Snuffleupagus and fucking Cookie Monster. Now, I was not made to be on children's programming. That is fucking obvious. But I respect it a lot. All right? And kids today and the world today need Sesame Street more than fucking anything. These are positive role models. These are just beautiful morals, right? I mean, you can get everything you need to know about how to treat people in life from Sesame Street and the Bible, and they coincide. The fact that you are going to let this show die is fucking wrong. So I plead right now. Sesame Street Workshops has come out and said we are looking for a partner. I plead to all of the streaming services. Do not let Sesame Street die.
Elmo's too much of a moneymaker.
Needs Big Bird. The world needs Cookie Monster. I could do without Elmo. The world needs Oscar the Grouch for balance.
Damn straight.
Streaming networks out there, somebody fucking do the right thing and pick up Sesame Street.
Elmo says somebody pick up Sesame Street.
Nice. That, you know what? That might be the best 4 minutes on high that Charles has ever done.
I don't know. The one he had a couple of weeks ago was pretty fire.
Well, I mean, that's why I like to end with him, because he always brings the fire, you know. And yes, Sesame Street does need a home. I'll show you how much in the dark I am. I wasn't even aware that Sesame Street was not on PBS anymore. I just assumed it was.
I didn't either.
I didn't even know Sesame Street was still going around. I thought it was just reruns.
Sesame Street and Fraggle Rock.
Tell you what, if Fraggle Rock was fantastic. If you want to see a good comedy bit, Dave Chappelle does a really good talking about. I don't even want to try to do it because I won't do it justice. Just go to YouTube, look up Dave Chappelle Sesame Street, and it was pretty damn good. Yeah. He talked about called Dracula being a pimp. And like 1, 2, hey, you owe me 3. Whatever. Anyway, it was good stuff. So, all right, everybody. Hope everyone enjoys the weekend. Enjoys some college football to end the week here, and some hopefully good wildcard weekend. And we'll see everybody back here next week, next Wednesday, 8:30 Central. Everybody, take care.
Fall, Eagles, fall on the wings of destruction. Die.
Skull.